Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever one it happens to be for you. I hope you are doing well. So, yeah, there is a few things that I wanted to talk about because there was a few things happening and I've sort of just left it and thought I would do a video all in one, as there isn't really much to talk about in this break, which is really frustrating when we have such a long international break, unnecessarily, in my humble opinion. So let's first start with the two interviews that have come out. One with Spence and one with Kudus. So the one with Spence tricked him and said that it was Ben Hayes doing the interview and asking some real random questions about that. He has, does he have 6 toes? And apparently he does have 6 toes on both feet. That's what he said. So very, very funny. And then it came out that his sister Brie came out, and it was actually her who was conducting the interview because she was thinking up of the questions. And then she actually interviewed her brother, which really lovely to see her point of view, how supportive she is actually of her brother, how she's got some really good memories of him playing, how she's really confident in him and his abilities, which is so nice to see that it's such a loving and supporting family. I really, really like that. I think that's really lovely that she is like that with her brother. And so, yeah, I really, really like that. I think it's fantastic to see. She does do her vlogs as well on match days and stuff. So, yeah, it's really nice. Like, it's a really lovely little dynamic when she was talking and stuff. And I really, really enjoyed it. And it gives you like a bit of an insight to Spence. He said that he's funny, that they haven't seen it yet, as in like the fans haven't seen it yet. And yeah, that is true, I guess, because we don't really get to see a lot of that side of him. And so we obviously aren't going to see that kind of funny side to him unless we see more backstage stuff, if you like. A bit like what Madders did. He did his blog, and I thought that was fantastic to see again, because I like to see that. It's nice to see the way that dynamics work between players and a bit more about what they are as people. So yeah, it was really lovely to see. I really, really enjoyed it, and it was lovely. And then we had Kudus's one as well, and he was talking about his journey of being a footballer, what it was like playing when he was younger on sand pitches, mad, and yeah, how it is to represent Ghana as well. He was talking about how he got a lot of criticism and that the people don't know him who do criticise him. They make just assumptions about him, about him as a person. And I think that just shows you a lot about how much players do actually look online, probably see a lot online more than what people assume. And yeah, it's like a really good insight. He seems like a really humble guy. He was talking about why he made the changes he did from club to club, and why he wanted to be at Tottenham. He said about Frank being able to develop players, that he really liked Frank. They thought that he would be really a good person to take him basically to that next step, which I really admire, that he was thinking in that way and that he was thinking about his development. That was obviously a really big pull for him to him coming to Tottenham. So yeah, like I really, really appreciated that, what he said, and he comes across like a really, really nice guy, and I'm really, really pleased that he actually did get his goal against Leeds. Because it's nice to see, and to see his celebration with him on that stool as well, which is quite funny. I don't know who bought that with him or if he just found one. He has got a special one that's made out of wood, but it obviously wasn't that one. So I don't know if he just randomly just nabbed one just in case, or if they've just been carrying one around with them just in case he does score a goal. But yeah, it was lovely to see. Like I say, it was a really, really lovely interview to get an insight on a background of how he thinks, what he thought about coming to Tottenham and his time at other clubs. So I found that really, really interesting. And again, I like to see them as people, and to get like an insight into them. And so I really liked that. And both of their interviews were really, really good, and I really enjoyed them. So the next topic is, show me the money. We all know now that Tottenham have come out and put a statement saying they're going to put 100 million into Tottenham. Now, exactly what this means. I don't think that anybody really knows quite yet, but what it does mean, I think, what we expect it to mean is that we probably will have a bit of extra leeway when it comes to in the club's money, because obviously all the money goes into, say, like one big pot, and so that extra boost in money will help out with everything, as well as obviously getting players, because that will ease up some money, because we don't always we don't obviously pay for all the players at once. What you do, you pay them in installments. So this will help perhaps put money towards a installment payment for a player in the January. There's lots of talk about whether it is a dilution of maybe Levy's money stakes in the club, and they did also say this is one, like, it is a payment, but there are going to be more, basically, which again is interesting that they've never done it before. I don't know what stopped them before, because they had the ability to do it before, so I don't know if it is because Vivian and her brother, whose name escapes me, has taken over, and maybe Joe Lewis was less willing to do so. I'm not entirely sure, because really it's still under Joe Lewis, even though it is in a trust. I don't think it's quite gone over to them unless he's actually signed it over to them properly. I'm not entirely sure, but all I know is that they are willing to put money in, and they're saying that we're not for sale. So they're saying, like, this is us showing that we're not for sale, that we are serious about putting money into the club, and this is going to be the first of several installments of money. So yeah, it is very interesting to see where they go with this, how much money they put in, and what it kind of goes towards, to see if, when there's a player that maybe we won't need to maybe haggle for that few £1,000s that people always say that we do. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I say, in January, maybe not so much, because January is a bit of a funny window, but in the summer, for sure, it'll be very interesting to see what happens with that, how much money that we actually do have to buy players. So yeah, why now? I don't know, but it is very interesting to see the club be obviously put first in, well, what they say is being put first, and to actually put money towards it. And this is the most money they've put towards it in a very long time. Recently, they have been putting money. So yeah, it is very interesting to see where we go. Hopefully this means that they are pushing on to be successful, and that is obviously what we all just want, is for Tottenham to be successful. I presume that's, for me, what it is about. I don't care. I just want us to do well. So yeah, let's see what happens with that, with the money. It will be fascinating to see where the Lewis family go from here. So let me know what you think about that. And of course, the Kudus Spence interviews, if you've seen them, let me know what you think, because like I say, it's nice to know what everybody is thinking about things. So the final topic I'd like to go on to is Frank so far. There has been a lot of talk between fans about whether they think that so far it's been good, so far it's been not so good. The football's not been good, but we're getting the results. It's not sustainable. It is sustainable. For me, I think that so far we haven't really played anybody apart from Man City, who we always tend to beat anyway. So it'll be interesting when we've got harder fixtures to see what Frank does, how Frank copes, because we will be playing more games a week as well than what he's used to. Playing 2 games a week is definitely difficult, because he won't have time on the training pitch as much. The players that stay behind from international break should be obviously getting that extra bit of help, extra bit of training, extra bit of coaching, as they are back at the training facility. So I think that is important, but we won't get much time. So it will be interesting. Like I say, in November, December, they're quite hard fixtures. So it will be really interesting to see what happens with Frank, where we end up. But as I always say, my expectation for the season was between 7th and 9th. So I'm not expecting us to stay up in that top four. I'm certainly not expecting that from Frank's first season. So for me, that's good. Like, so far, so good, because we actually are up further than what I thought we would be, what I believed that was feasible, and I think that we will drop down. And I'm not going to be disappointed when we do drop down, because I expected us to, like I say, be reasonable and be between 9th and 7th, and I think that is a reasonable expectation. I think that people who think we're going to stay in 4th because we are 4th now, in the top 4 now, I know we're 3rd, sorry, but I do think that, I think that that's not a reasonable expectation for him in his first season. So when it comes to that, I think that people need to maybe have a bit more of a reasonable expectation. And then I would say that when it comes to the football, it has been a little bit meh at times. And I do think that Frank needs to make better decisions when it comes to games like home against Wolves, playing Bentancur and Polina. I think is not acceptable. We need to go for it at home and not allow to be basically bossed around at our own ground, which I think, is totally unacceptable. It's good that we are coming back from games, which means we have got resilience and we've got fight in us to come back, which is a good thing. But we don't want to have to keep doing that. That is not sustainable to do that. So I think that we need to make sure that we kill off games early on. So I think that we need to make sure that we are scoring, as getting our A game when it comes to getting goals in the back of that net, and also being attacking. So I do think that so far it has been a bit of an up and down with the games, and I think that the games can be a bit meh, but I think that will improve. I think that Frank has got to have time to improve that, because it's going to take a bit of time, especially because he hasn't got as much time on the training pitch. But we have been told that Frank is a fantastic coach. So anytime he does have with them, I expect him to bring on some of our players a little bit further in their development, because I think that that's what everybody said he would be doing. Although he hasn't got much time, I think that at some level he has to somewhat do that, even with the lack of time that he has got currently. So, like I say, I do think that so far, so good. I think that so far he's done a good job, but it's going to be a tough period now, and it will be very, very interesting to see where he goes with this, how he does. But I don't think we should put too much pressure on his head to maybe finish top 4. But yes, reasonably finish between, like I say, 9th and 7th is fine. And also go far in the cup competitions, and that includes the Champions League. To go as far as possible is absolutely an expectation. We can't just lower our expectations because it's his first season. He needs to really push for those. So, I think that for me is a reasonable expectation. I think that's reasonable to criticise him when necessary. I'm not going to be highly defensive of him, and I'm not going to be highly critical of him. I think that people are taking it too far. I think that what happens is people, I keep saying this, is that people who didn't want Frank are lovers of Ange and will criticise him overly because they wanted Ange. And the people who really wanted Frank, who hated or disliked Ange, are now so far for Frank because they just want him to be proven to be better than Ange. And at the end of the day, different managers come in at different times, at different points in time, with different players, and I don't think you can really compare them in a way, because at the end of the day, look what we did with Pochettino, and then somebody like Jose come in and he got us to a final, okay, but he didn't do fantastic like what Pochettino did. But Pochettino then messed up when we did get to a final. Jose didn't get given the chance for the final. So see, there's so many different variables that I don't think you can do a direct comparison with them. So I'm not really somebody who is going to be overly like critiquing Frank or trying to compare him to Ange, but we must remember that Ange did win us a trophy. So the one thing I don't like is that people disrespect Ange in a way and call him names and be derogative towards him. At the end of the day, if you don't like Ange, you could say, yep, thank you for the trophy, but he wasn't for me. He wasn't the manager that I enjoyed watching. It wasn't the manager that I enjoyed, but he won us a trophy after 17 years of not having a trophy. So I think that's important to acknowledge as well, and not be disrespectful, because he has won everywhere he's gone. And though people might say, well, this is the only one in Scotland, he only won in Australia, but that still you've got to have that winning thing inside of you. And that's obviously my concern with Frank, is that has he got that? Because he's never had to have that. When it comes to games that are finals, has he got that inside of him to get you over that line? Has he got that inside of him to push the players in the right direction to get us over the line? Because we had that issue with Pochettino. So yeah, let's see what happens. I don't doubt that Frank is a fantastic coach, but has he got it to push us on and push us that bit further? We'll have to wait and see. But like I say, I'm not overly judging him. I think that it's wrong to overly judge him. I think that people need to give him a bit of a break and not be like over the top with him. But then I think that people who are over the top with him, as in defending him, also need to obviously cut that out too, because it's silly. You can criticise him. People getting so upset about people criticising him. Why? At the end of the day, you're allowed to criticise a manager if you think he's done something, in your opinion, that's not right. So I think that on both sides, people just need to have a little bit of balance. Balance either side. You're allowed to criticise. You're allowed to stick up for him a little bit. It's fine, but don't, like, the extremisms of it is just ridiculous. I really do think it is ridiculous, and people need to just chill a little bit and give him a little bit of time. He's only been here such a small amount of time that I think either way you can't really judge whether he's going to be fantastic or whether he's going to fail. So I'd hope that nobody wants him to fail, because it's our team. So at the end of the day, who wants us to fail? Like, I don't understand if anybody wants us to not be good all for the sake of an opinion. I would hope that our fans wouldn't do that, that you'd rather be right than you would be than for us to do well, or you'd rather to be right than for a player to do well, or anything like that. I don't understand it. Your opinion is your opinion, and that's fine. You're absolutely welcome to it, but I don't understand if you want that to be at the detriment of our club. I never understand that. I was never somebody who said I'd rather us get relegated so Enoch and Levy can go. I was never one of those people, because I would never wish that upon my club. I want our club to do well, and that doesn't include getting relegated for the sake of something like that, or for being right. I don't know, like, I just don't understand that kind of point of view. Like, for me, it's all about us doing well. So whoever our manager is, I want us to do well. I want us to do well. So it doesn't matter to me who it is. Even when it was Conte, and it was really, really boring and it was ridiculous, if he won us something, I'll be more than happy and say, fantastic, thank you, Conte, you won us something. He was a manager that won us something. So yeah, man, like, it's not about us versus managers, us versus each other, us versus the players. It should be us all together supporting the club, and everybody supports their club differently. Everyone's got a path. I always say this, there's a big end to the game, which is winning, which is the big tower that you're like, that's the winning, that's like the ultimate. You go like, woo, that's what you want. But at the end of the day, we've all got different paths to get there. So at the end of the day, our paths might cross, but some of our paths don't cross, in our opinions. So it's all about just an opinion. And I don't know why people are getting so irate about people's opinions on Thomas Frank. Either way, if I'm honest, people are going to have their own opinions, and you should just allow everyone to think how they wish to think, get on with how they wish to support the club, and see what happens, and support the team when they play the games. So, and that's all we can do as fans, really. We don't affect anything else in the club. What goes on, who gets bought, who doesn't get bought, we don't affect any of that. How the players turn up on the day is down to them, but obviously when we're there to cheer them on, that really helps them, boost them. So I really do believe in supporting the team when they are on that pitch as much as possible. But yeah, that's just my penny's worth and what I think about everything that's been going on so far at Tottenham. Please let me know your opinions. I would love to hear what you've got to say, what you think, what you feel about these topics. And if there's any other topics you want me to cover, please let me know. If you wish to bring up anything, I would absolutely love to cover it and have that discussion with you. But as I say, it's a bit slow at the moment because it is international break. So it is a bit meh, to say the least. But anyway, take very, very good care of yourselves. Please make sure you smash that like button, and we'll speak again real soon.